Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for wherever you are in the world today, and welcome to our webinar, How to Develop Innovation Roadmaps and Prepare for Change. We're really thrilled to have you join us. Again, thanks so much for joining. My name is Mallory Jones, and I am the Vice President of Client Success at Exec Online. So I work with our participants as well as our clients to really ensure that they have a great experience in our programs and in working with Exec Online. And in fact, before we get started, wanted to just tell you a little bit about Exec Online in case you're unfamiliar with the organization. So we help companies like yours really solve their biggest challenges through our premium online leadership development programs. And how do we do this? We partner with top schools, including Columbia, Yale, Berkeley, Wharton, MIT, and IMD. And we partner with them to create university certified programs. We work with our clients to really understand their business needs, and then we deploy our programs as solutions to those. So participants in our program, they develop projects as a part of the experience, and those projects really look to solve, again, the business challenges that we've helped their organizations identify. And then finally, we measure the financial and business impact of each of these projects. So what you'll see on this slide here are just a few of the clients that we work with. To date, we've worked with over 130 organizations from around the world, different industries. We have over 6,000 graduates, again, different functional areas. So today, we're going to discuss how you can help your organization drive innovation initiatives with Exec Online's leadership development programs. First, we're going to discuss the programs that can really enable innovation. And then second, my colleague, David Cross, he'll walk us through a case example of how a large car rental organization achieved innovation through these programs. Third, we're going to talk about how Exec Online really proves the ROI of our online programs. And then finally, we're going to highlight how you can get started. We'll also have plenty of time at the end for Q&A. If you do have any questions along the way, feel free to post those in the chat box. We'd be happy to answer them. So what's the challenge? Today's organizations, they recognize that innovation is important, but we've heard that, many of our clients, it's a challenge really implementing innovative thinking. And so to help frame our discussion today, I wanted to start by pointing out some important statistics. So what you'll see here is that 80% of business leaders believe their companies underperform in terms of creating conditions that really favor successful innovation. And then 72% of executives say, they don't think that they're out innovating their competitors. Over half of executives struggle to really align innovation strategy with business strategy. And then about a third of companies say their biggest innovation challenge is really establishing a leadership culture conducive to innovation. So again, let's take a look at the programs that really help companies to innovate. What you'll see here is leading innovative change with UC Berkeley, as well as accelerating change readiness and agility with UC Berkeley. So leading innovative change, this program provides executives with the frameworks and tools to really generate and translate customer insights into concrete ideas for new approaches, products, services. And in terms of the capabilities that it develops, participants, they'll learn how to apply Berkeley's 4-phase innovation cycle to your company's innovation process. They'll learn how to identify market-driven opportunities, what are internal innovation opportunities that really drive clear ROI, and then how to successfully navigate organizational cultures to really implement innovation. With the Accelerating Change Readiness and Agility program, this really helps executives learn how to effectively take advantage of change and innovative opportunities in today's fast-moving and competitive landscape. So, again, with regard to the capabilities that participants will develop in this program, they'll learn how to develop strategic agility, really how to align their department's culture with strategic objectives, and then bulletproof ways to manage risk and uncertainty in times of change. So I'm going to go into each one of these details in a bit more detail. What you'll see here is the Leading Innovative Change. It's a 6-week program, and the Accelerating Change Readiness and Agility is a 3-week program. So again, let's take a look at Leading Innovative Change first. This program, again, participants are going to examine and apply really proven frameworks to capitalize on new opportunities. So how can they strengthen their organization's competitive advantage? You'll see here there are world-class professors that are leading this program. So for example, Professor Sarah Beckman, she is a leading voice in design, innovation, product management, and she's really known for her long tenure at the Hewlett-Packard Company, where she was the director of the product generation change management team. She also serves as the Chief Learning Officer of the Jacobs Institute of Design Innovation, and that's within UC Berkeley's College of Engineering. Professor Jennifer Chapman, Professor Jenny Chapman, she teaches, researches, she consults, and she really, her focus is around leveraging organizational culture, leading change, and managing complex teams. So Professor Chapman, she serves on the board of Simpson Manufacturing, and she's also involved in the Center of the Development of Peace and Wellbeing. She's on a number of editorial boards as well, including the Academy of Management Review and the California Management Review. So Henry Jethro, he's a leading organizational theorist and a faculty director of the Garwood Center for Corporate Innovation at the Haas School of Business. And he's really a frequent consultant as well. He advises companies and several industries, information technology, life science, financial services. And before joining Haas, he taught at Harvard Business School. So then let's look at Professor Jerry Engel. So Jerry Engel, he's really internationally recognized in innovation, entrepreneurship, and venture capital. During his career, he's founded and advised and served on a number of boards, including highly successful companies and nonprofit organizations. So current board positions, a real focus in the Silicon Valley area, but Adaptive Planning, Jupiter Systems, MedAmerica, and then the National Collegiate Inventors and Innovators Alliance. And then finally, Professor David Reamer, he is the former VP of Marketing at Yahoo and former ad agency president and internet marketing executive as well. Currently, he's the executive in residence and a guest lecturer on marketing, entrepreneurship, product development, and product marketing. So what are the key concepts that participants will learn in the Leading Innovative Change program? Let's start with the Berkeley innovation process. So this is an iterative 4-part model for really generating and implementing innovative ideas. This will help companies to ultimately improve business performance, again, through first observations, then insights, ideation, and finally experimentation. Next, let's look at ethnographic interviewing. So this is a really unique way for participants to generate customer-centric insights, if you will. So it's an investigative process that's geared to uncover deep wishes, needs, pain points as as participants are interviewing both internal and external stakeholders. Let's then look at insight generation tools. So what are some of these in the program? There are things like empathy maps, customer profiles, really how can we help participants provide a structured means for deriving insight from interview data, again, that they're collecting during that ethnographic interviewing process. Next, let's look at the business model canvas. So this is a world-renowned framework, and it's really to help participants generate internal and external focused innovations. Next, storytelling. So this comes from, again, a former VP of Marketing at Yahoo, David Reamer. This is a narrative approach for really explaining and promoting innovative ideas, such that you can really maximize your persuasive power within your organization. And then finally, culture as a leadership tool. This is a model for understanding organizational culture, and particularly as it supports innovation. So if we look next to the week by week for Leading Innovative Change, let me share with you a little bit about what this looks like for participants. So in Module 1, the professors, they explain the role and really incredible value, if you will, of innovation in the enterprise, really introducing the first principles of innovation, if you will, so the why, when, where, what's involved. And this module begins to take a deep dive into the practical challenges, so how to plan, how to execute strategies for innovative change. So then in Module 2, this really branches to that second phase of the Berkeley 4-phase cycle of innovation, that's insight generation. This is where participants will learn how to mine for data, how to look for opportunities that are going to unlock value. Then in Module 3, this breaks into the really exciting, if you will, third phase of the Berkeley 4-phase cycle of innovation, which is ideation. So how can we help participants learn how to reframe meaning that they discovered in Module 2, and to really turn problems and needs into unprecedented business opportunities. And Module 4 will then guide participants to that final phase of the 4-phase cycle, experimentation. So how can participants take these bold ideas that they've generated and really start to experiment and evaluate those that really stand to benefit. In Module 5, participants will sort of push back the boundaries of innovation, if you will. They'll create a cultural context for change, really looking to reintroduce the structure and meaning of corporate culture, and examples, if you will, cultures that really deliberately spawn innovation are brought up in that module. And then the final module, Module 6, this is the gateway to implementation. And so participants are going to learn the art of sharing their bold ideas with colleagues, partners, and customers through that process of storytelling. So again, throughout this program, participants are learning the concepts of innovation, but they're actually taking a real business challenge at your organization and taking it through that 4-phase cycle of innovation that Berkeley has coined. So again, first starting with observations, they're actually conducting ethnographic interviews with either internal or external stakeholders at your business. Next, going through the process of insight generation using tools like the customer empathy map, coming up with an idea, so a real idea that they could potentially implement at your organization, taking that idea and then designing an experiment for that idea, looking at your specific culture and how your culture may or may not, support the idea that they've come up with in the course. And then finally, telling a story around that idea. So actually developing a pitch to go back and share that with others. So that's what participants will be doing in this program. Let's take a look, of some real projects that participants have actually generated in this program. So for example, the first one here, this is a director of R&D at a healthcare company that really redesigned their instrument interface to make it more disease interpretation oriented. And this participant anticipated that this project would increase efficiency by 30% and would have a projected financial impact of $5 million. The second one here is a director for an industrial company that designed a solution to really reduce the production time of their milling process. And this participant anticipated that their project in this program would increase customer loyalty, customer satisfaction, if you will, by 50%, with, again, a projected financial impact of $2 million. And then finally, the last project that you see here, this is a manager from an agricultural business that really shortened their supply chain process. And again, increased customer loyalty by 80% with a projected financial impact of $10 million. So that was a little bit about the Leading Innovative Change program. We're next going to talk about the Accelerating Change Readiness and Agility course. So Accelerating Change Readiness and Agility is a 3-week leadership development program, and it provides executives with, again, tools, frameworks really needed to lead change effectively within your organization. This program, again, really well-known, well-renowned Berkeley professors. So for example, Professor Homa Barami, she's an international educator, advisor, board member, author. She's really known for her research on how organizations can thrive in a constantly changing world. And she helped coin the term, for example, super flexibility, which describes how the kind of capacity of people for organizations to deliberately adapt to new realities. And then here, Professor Joellen Posner. Joellen Posner's research focus is on questions of organizational ethics, corporate governance, social movements, and institutional change. She's also done a lot of research on social movements, including research on movements that promoted acceptance of organic food, for example, and those that led to the creation of a low-power FM radio service in the US. And then Professor Chapman is also in this course. So we discussed her a little bit earlier as it relates to the Leading Innovative Change program. But again, in this program, she's focused on organizational culture, leading change, and really managing complex teams. So now let's look at some of the key concepts for this program for the Accelerating Change Readiness and Agility course. Let's talk about 4 ones here. So first is the adaptive DNA. So this is when participants, they'll take a self-assessment in the course and really understand what are some strengths that they have, as well as areas of opportunity as it relates to different competencies. So robustness, resilience, hedging, agility, and versatility. And then next here, you'll see organizational and strategic culture. So participants here, they're going to learn about this system of norms and values that really engender long-term adaptability. Again, it's a multiple related assessment tool. Then the adoption S-curve and stakeholder segmentation. So this is the third concept. Participants here, they're going to explore the principles for really identifying sympathetic stakeholders. So again, how can they maximize influence and persuasion? And then finally, the change readiness playbook. So this is what participants will walk away from the course with. This is again related to a real change initiative within your company, and they'll discover an adaptable framework for really flexible change planning and implementation. It's a playbook that again they will walk away with having identified a change initiative and taken it through this program. They can also use this playbook for future change initiatives within your organization. And again, I'll highlight this a bit more here in the week by week for the Accelerating Change Readiness and Agility program. So for example, in Module 1, participants will take a brief adaptive DNA assessment that I mentioned earlier, and they'll really understand what are their personal strengths and development opportunities. And then with guidance from Professor Barami, participants are going to identify a critical challenge to work on across the program. So, again, as I mentioned, this is all in Module 1 at the outset of the course. They're then going to create a personal plan as well in this program to really leverage their personal adaptive DNA. And then in Module 2, Professors Chapman and Posner, they show participants how to diagnose organizational cultural barriers to change. And then finally, Professor Barami provides participants with the tools for overcoming barriers to execution. So she'll share and use a test and learn method, if you will. And so again, taking a real change initiative, walking away with a change readiness playbook related to that initiative, but quite frankly, one that they could use for future change initiatives in your organization as well. We'll take a look here again at some of the projects that have come out of this program. So for example, a senior director at a healthcare company launched a cloud migration initiative for a core system. So it's an internal assessment that really revealed critical improvement opportunities. And this participant reported increased efficiency of 30% and a projected financial impact of $250,000. And then here, a director at a semiconductor company, they continuously analyze performance to really implement a strategy that reduced time spent on manual work in their organization. They projected that this would increase customer loyalty by 15% and have a projected financial impact of $6 million. And then finally, the last one you'll see, our director of training introduced assessments and KPIs for individuals to really shift their overall team dynamic and combat what they saw as a toxic culture. And this increased quality by 60%. Again, a projected financial impact of $1 million. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, David Cross. He's ExecOnline's Director of Content. He'll introduce himself to you, and he's going to talk to us about how we worked with one of our corporate partners to really help them with their innovation initiatives.
Thank you, Mallory. So I'm David Cross. I'm ExecOnline's Director of Content. And one of my jobs is to speak with our amazing corporate partners and learn about how they use our programs. And today I'm going to talk to you about National Rentals. And National Rentals is a pseudonym for one of our corporate partners. So National Rentals is a large vehicle rental company in the United States. And in 2016, they sent more than 50 leaders through our programs. And their goal was to generate a more innovative organization. So participants in these programs developed many amazing projects, but I want to highlight one that will give you an idea of what you can accomplish in these type of programs. So National Rentals VP of Consumer Marketing participated in our Leading Innovative Change program. And during the program, he developed a project to create a new channel to differentiate National Rentals from its competitors and allow the company to compete on more than just price. So after conducting a really in-depth research and using frameworks he developed in the program, he devised a plan to create a mobile app for frequent flyers. The app notified customers about where their rental car is parked, directions to the vehicle, and a shuttle tracker to help them get there. The result is that the company created a more streamlined, enjoyable process for frequent travelers. And frankly, the app was really a resounding success for the company. In the first year since the app launched, they had acquired 40,000 new customers, or excuse me, 400,000 new customers, and they had 300,000 rental transactions. So now I want to talk to you a little bit about the ROI the company saw. So what you see is the projected financial impact that came about as a result of National Rentals partnering with Exec Online. But this includes all the participants' projects. So it's 50 plus people who were in this initial run. The company invested about $31,000, and we project that they'll see a return of about $6 million. And this means that the company's returns are 177 times their initial investment. So that's very large. I'm going to pass it back to Mallory now, who's going to talk to us a little bit more about ROI.
Great, thank you. And so, wonderful. So let's talk to you about how we measure and benchmark your organization really at all levels of the Kirkpatrick Phillips model. So, we hear all the time that HR partners, along with other functions, they're really asked to prove the ROI to their business. And so what we've heard from enterprises is that they're earning back 102 times their investment. And so this is, again, a significant upside for them. So what we want to do is we want to help HR leaders like yourself really show the business and financial impact of their initiatives and how they can play a larger and more strategic role within their organization. So for example, we know here that 96% of participants apply their learnings and 98% improve their skills. As well as 96% of participants, they say they just have a great experience. So they report to us that they have again, a wonderful experience in our programs. So again, what's really important here is that HR partners, they're using the data, particularly the ROI from these programs, and they're using it to oftentimes successfully make the case for additional resources for L&D. So at the end of our programs, again, we're helping our partners to contribute to solving their most critical business challenges. We're making it easier for HR partners to report back to the rest of the business. So let's take a deeper dive into the schedule for the fall. Sooner participants start, the sooner your organization can start to realize returns. So let's walk through some of the dates here. So for example, the welcome module has already opened. It opened on August 16th. And this allows participants to select time preferences for their meeting schedule. This allows them to do a tech check and also allows participants to get a taste of the content. Then the orientation module, this is when everything really begins. This will launch on September 22nd and requires about 2 to 3 hours of pre-work. All of the programs start on October 2nd. The Accelerating Change Readiness and Agility, the 3-week program, ends on October 22nd. And then the Leading Innovative Change program ends on November 12th. And we do ask that you submit your roster of names by September 8th. So how can you get started? Ultimately, it's pretty straightforward. If you're an individual or your company has an open enrollment format, you can self-select your program of choice through our website, www.execonline.com. You can fill out and submit any of those next step forms. They're located on all of the program pages. If you're an HR person or you are a business leader and you need to nominate, you can build out your cohort. Once your list is finalized, you can visit the enterprise portal located at enterprise.execonline.com to submit that. So let's take a look here at some frequently asked questions. So for example, do you support busy travel schedules? We absolutely do. The programs are specifically designed to support busy executives. And so our retention team, they look to offer really, white glove service for participants that are they may be traveling, may just have a busy work schedule as well. And so you can always download the iPad app, for example, if you're traveling, and download the lectures in advance of travel and then watch them offline. But again, wherever you may be in the world, we look to support you. Another question we get is, do you support tuition reimbursement? We do. We actually have a partner company named EdAssist. We work with EdAssist to help our clients ensure compliance as it relates to tuition reimbursement. What about feedback? So how do you collect feedback from participants? This is extremely important to Exec Online. We leverage participant and client feedback to really ensure that we're always offering the highest quality program experience. And we collect both qualitative as well as quantitative feedback, really at the end of weeks 1, 3, and 6. So 6 for 6-week programs, for example. And then let's say you'd like to learn more about the participant experience. If you'd like to learn more about the participant experience, you can do so at the below link. You can also reach out to your client success manager and schedule a participant experience demo. We'd be happy to walk you through that. So at this point, we'd love to open it up to the line and take any questions that you might have. Great, so one of the questions, so how do we support international participants? That's a great question. So international participants, about 40% of our participants are actually international, located outside of the US. And so we have event times that really satisfy various time zones, whether you're in APAC, EMEA, India, et cetera. And ultimately, again, the course is primarily self-paced. So, wherever you are in the world, you're able to watch the lectures and to complete the assignments. Again, any other questions? All right. So at this point, I'll turn it back over to my colleague, David Cross, who will discuss some of the new things here at Exec Online.
So we have a lot of amazing events and some amazing content coming up that I want to tell you about. So we have one more webinar this week, and that is how to lead a diverse workforce. And I encourage you to sign up for that. Even if you can't attend, we are going to be sending out copies or video of the webinar, so you can always get it. Second, in October, we have our annual conference, Exec Connect. And there's going to be more than 200 senior HR leaders there, and it's really the must-attend conference of the year. It's going to feature discussions by thought leaders from top business schools and innovative companies. And finally, we recently released a brand new white paper, and that's a project-based approach for L&D investments. And in this white paper, you'll discover why it's important for organizations to prove L&D's ROI and how to lay out a project-based approach to it. Finally, before we go, we please ask you to fill out our poll and let us know if you found this webinar useful.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for attending our webinar. We really appreciate it. And we encourage you to reach out to us if you'd like any more additional information. So thank you so much. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.